本日は、ニューヨークのクラリネット、プレイヤーでいらっしゃるトーマス・ピエーチさんにお越しいただいています。Thank you very much for coming.
Since 2005, I've been going back and forth between Tokyo to New York and started playing a lot of new music by Japanese composers. And I would play it here, and then I would take those pieces back and play them in New York. And then in 2012, I had an organization, a concert presenting organization, that put a call for scores out for New York composers to write short pieces about their thoughts about Tokyo that were written for me. And so those were the first 15 pieces. And then the next year I asked Tokyo composers to write short pieces about their thoughts about New York City. So that was the beginning of Tokyo to New York. And then started doing the concerts of mixing the Tokyo composers and the New York composers. And as of now, there have been over 60 pieces that have been written for Tokyo to New York and that have been premiered on these concerts. And everything from solo clarinet up to mandolin orchestra with mandolin and clarinet, and soon mandolin orchestra with piano and clarinet double concerto, and also a combination of Western instruments and traditional Japanese instruments.
So maybe ask a little bit more about this Tokyo to New York that we are going to have in Tokyo.
Yes. I think it started mainly because last year we did the concert where we played a double concerto for mandolin and clarinet, the Liberté Orchestra, and the clarinet concerto, and then other pieces on the concert. And we started talking about let's do it again, which was a great idea because the mandolin orchestra sounded great. And so had several more composers write for the mandolin orchestra, and then adding the other pieces in the first half of the program, which are chamber music pieces or solo pieces, which are Western instruments, also the traditional Japanese instruments of Hichiriki and Yuteki, and composers ranging from early 20s to 93 years old.
How was your impression about the mandolin orchestra?
Yeah, before I had heard mandolin orchestra, which was 2 years ago at a concert that you had, I had never heard a mandolin orchestra. I didn't know what it was going to sound like. I thought it might sound like banjos or something. And then that first concert, when I heard the very beginning of the Vivaldi Four Seasons, I was so impressed. It sounded like a huge string orchestra. And so then when you talked about let's do something together with the band, I was very excited because I knew then that it would sound so great, the combination of clarinet, the mandolin orchestra. Yeah. And the concert last year, I was very impressed with the level of playing and the great sound that the mandolin orchestra has.
And how do you expect this time? Yeah, first of all, we had two concerto last time.
Yes.
And this time we will have that two plus one more.
Yes.
That's the concerto piano and the clarinet.
Yes, by Kawakami-san.
Yes, by Kawakami-san.
Yes.
So, how's your?
I think, because we just had a few weeks ago our first rehearsal after a year away, and I was pleasantly surprised that it sounded as good or better than it did last year. I think the pieces have settled. I know for myself, my part, and with the orchestra, maybe just a year of it being in your head or coming back to it after learning it last year, it sounds better. I think people have a better idea of what the piece is, and it seems like we're all listening to each other a little better. Yeah, and so I'm thrilled with how it's progressed and looking forward to the concerts with the new piece too.
Akira, do you have any comment that you would like to deliver to the people who's watching this?
Oh, I hope you'll come to the concert, of course. You've got some wonderful players, everything from traditional instruments to piano and clarinet. You have shakuhachi, hichiriki, uteki, and you have many styles of music. You have abstract music by John Cage, and Kanokpak CHANGWITCHUKARN, who's a very young Thai composer who was here last year. You have a sort of pop jazz piece by Senri OE. You have Tango Nuevo by Fernando Otero. You have a very aggressive piece by Ned ROREM, who's now 93 and still with us and writing. So you have a whole mixture of styles, and I think that's very exciting for anyone.
Thank you very much. So on 28th February,
Yes.
2月28日午後3時、3 p.m. right?
Yes.
からでございます。大変面白い演奏になっていると思いますので、ぜひよろしくお願いします。Thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you.